It's time for another garden update. There's a look at our hollow log planters. Those are doing pretty well. The zinnias are starting to grow now that we've got warmer and sunnier weather. Same with the tomatoes and peppers in the straw bales. The onions we'll be using as we need them. I'm still having to cover some of the smaller pepper plants at night to keep the roly-polies from damaging them. We've got a few tomatoes and peppers in containers. Let's go ahead and talk about the variety here. We have Tasmanian chocolate. That's a cross between, I can't remember one tomato, but the other one is Paul Robeson. I'm looking forward to tasting that one. And that's a dwarf Jade Beauty, green variety. Then we have Serendipity, another dwarf, and Pink Passion, another dwarf. That little eggplant there is Little Fingers. Let me give you a rundown on our sweet potatoes while I'm thinking about it, in case anybody is interested. At the base of each bale I have sweet potatoes planted, and those are going to be used as a crop and as a ground cover. This first bale has Okinawan purple. Then we have some from the grocery store. They haven't really started to grow yet. Another one from the grocery store. Then we have Molokai purple. And above that in that bale are Oda peppers. Then we have an eggplant called Fairy Tale. Then we have some more Okinawan purple. And above that are the albino bullnose peppers. And I'll show you a look at some of the damage that the roly-polies have done to that one. The tomatoes out in the main garden are still pretty small. Same with the pepper plants. We were almost midway through May and they were still calling it the 4th coolest May on record here. So if that tells you anything, we had tons of rain. Let me just show you some of what was going on around here. We've had so much rain in the last couple of weeks that it's really held back the garden. And this isn't our first rodeo when it comes to rising water, so I took this quick video of the wheat field. And the very next day, that same wheat field looked like this. And the water was still rising. I didn't bother to take another video, but it was much worse in a couple of days after this. We didn't receive any damage to our home, but I felt bad for those who did and for the farmers in the area. As you can see, the fields were really flooded. We have a couple of peppers here. And right next to that are the eggplants. I have cages around those. Those are just temporary to keep me from stepping on them mainly and keep animals from digging them up while they're small. And that's another thing. We've had a lot of trouble with raccoons this year. First time ever for us for having that much trouble. But they've really been testing my patience. Here's a look at one of my little tormentors. They show up during the night and dig all over the garden. Nothing is more frustrating than going out and finding a young plant lying on the ground because it happened to have a grub nearby. And that's what they're after. They dig for grubs. So we have food and they're after it. There's lots of different things you can do for raccoons and animals. I'm not going to go into it. That would be a subject for another video. But I'm guessing that the wood chips have something to do with how many grubs we have and how many animal visitors we have. Last fall we had skunks. This spring it's raccoons. Here's the other hollow log planter. These will do better now that the sun's starting to shine on a regular basis. This cage here, I'm going to have cucumbers climbing in it. Then I have white tomaso and a boxcar willy back there. We've got yacon. And up here we have desi squash. Got 2 of those. I'm going to thin those out to 1 per spot. And the corn, you can see the corn better now, and I've thinned that out to 1 per spot. That first row is all hybrid corn. That's cross between grocery store popcorn and glass gem corn. And this will be the F2 generation, so there should be a lot of variety in that 1 row. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how that does. In the next row we have some more of the hybrid, and then I've got 5 glass gem corn that were really good corn to pop. And then in this bare spot here, I'm going to be planting some other type of corn later, but I don't want them to pollinate the other project I have going, so I'm going to have that much later. Then we've got Titan Mongolian Giant sunflowers, and we also have some Mexican sunflowers for the pollinators. While I'm by the grow bags, let's hit those. These are red garnet sweet potatoes, and instead of planting slips this year, I put a whole potato here, half a potato here, and we'll see how that works out. I've had pretty good luck doing that in the past. Then we've got ping tongue eggplant. This is a mixed grow bag here. Molokai purple, that's a slip that I bought. Then I put the other half of that red garnet here, and this is Okinawan purple, small tuber there. Looks like I have a sunflower coming up there. Then we've got 4 peppers here, the Courbaki, Buena Mulata fish, and a Hungarian sweet pepper. And then some sweet potatoes from the grocery store. That one's just now starting to sprout. Let's hit the ornamental peppers. Well, I have 1 jalapeno there. Some black pearl, hot pops purple, explosive ember. That one is poinsettia, purple flash, Medusa, and New Mex Easter. And I've got weeds coming up in all of them. And down here on the end, here's the banana trees. I just measured those a little bit ago, and they're 30 inches, the 2 tallest ones. Got lots of pups down at the bottom. And we've got the Musa velutina. That has pink bananas on it when it has fruit, and I'm hoping it does this year. It's got 2 pups coming up down at the bottom. And then I've got 1 more, the Musa velutina, out there in the herbs. That fennel is really getting tall. It's probably about 30 inches tall too. There's a smaller one down here. And then the sage over here is starting to bloom. Pollinators like it pretty well too. The horseradish. Then the rhubarb is ready. This one is ready to harvest, so we're going to be doing that soon. The French sorrel is going to seed. I'm going to be topping that soon. Just haven't got around to it. Then we have oregano. And over here I have 1 little butterfly weed stuck over here, and it's starting to come up. This is a canna flower called Cleopatra, and it's got some interesting red streaks in the foliage. The flowers later will be yellow with red streaks. Before I go any further, I thought I'd give an update on the hops plant in case anybody was wondering. Very early on I checked it and it had lots of growth tips, and after digging down and checking the roots, I thought it might be a little aggressive for our sandy loam soil. My son and daughter-in-law down in Tennessee were planning to grow hops, so I just dug this one up and sent it to them. Here's a look at the same plant growing next to their barn. And here's my daughter-in-law standing next to it for a size reference. As you can see, it's off to a very good start considering it only got to 6 feet last year. Here's a quick look at their new gardening spot. This is the first year they'll be gardening there, and it's well built and off to a pretty good start. I'm really proud of those two. They put a lot of hard work into their place, and it's a place to be proud of. Back here along the fence, I always have trouble with the Bermuda grass sneaking under it and getting into the wood chips. So just as an experiment, I put some sweet potato slips over here, and we'll see if they can kind of outcompete the weeds. Here's a butterfly weed that I put in a container, and it's going to be blooming soon. I'm looking forward to that. Pollinators really love this stuff, or I've noticed that out in the wild. This is the first time I've grown any. I have a couple out in the garden here. And over in this end I also have some sweet potatoes to kind of act as a barrier to keep the Bermuda grass from invading. And I have one common milkweed here. And we've got a few of those in other spots. Dickinson pumpkin, I'm going to thin that out to 2 there. We've been planting a few things in containers. This is a regal geranium. It's got a really pretty color to it. Then I found this little container here at Goodwill. Still got the price tag on it, haven't got that off yet. Got some petunias in it. I just left this little water spout open for drainage. I think that'll work okay. We'll see. And over here in our old water cooler, got these growing. And here's a quick look at the goji berry. As some of these ends get taller, I just have been snipping them to make it more bushy instead of tall, and it's starting to respond by getting a little growth in those leaf joints, so it should be pretty bushy here for too long. I stuck some ginger root in the ground. I just noticed we have some of that sprouting, so hopefully the rest of it will come up too. And while I'm over in this area, we also have some carrots coming up. We've got these squash back by the fence, and I'm going to have those climb a trellis, a string trellis. We'll see how that goes. The irises are well past their prime, but while I was over here I wanted to show you this one. This is probably my favorite that I produced by pollinating 2 different types and then growing irises from seed. This one right next to it is sister, came from the same 2 parents. As you can see, it's a little different, more dark purple on top. And I have one over here. This one I don't think I'll save. It's pretty, but not exactly one I want to pursue, so this one will probably go to a new home. Now that we've got some sunshine, we should start noticing some pretty substantial growth, or that's what I'm hoping for, because it's been kind of held back by our weather recently. Oh yeah, the Orioles have really been hitting the feeders hard. That's a quick look at what's been going on in our garden. Feel free to tell me what's been going on in yours. If you're just now finding this channel and you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Otherwise, like, comment, and share. We'll see you next time.